There you go.
Okay. Again, before we start off, we have few housekeeping items. Firstly, this meeting is recorded and will be published on YouTube. All meetings in Kubernetes community abide by a code of conduct, which you can find at the link on the bottom of the slide. It basically sums up to please be respectful of the speakers and your fellow attendees and generally be excellent to each other. Um, Please use the chat to ask questions and have discussions throughout this call. There will be a Q&A section at the end where we encourage you to ask questions verbally if you would like to. A copy of these slides available on GitHub, and the link is also in the meeting invite. We will post the link in the chat now. Note that on GitHub, the slides are provided as a PDF file. The links in the deck are not clickable as displayed on GitHub, but they should be clickable if you download the file. Today's agenda. The purpose of this meeting is to orient you in the Kubernetes community. That means that give you a sense of how the community works and what are your parts are or could be within it. We will start off with presentation to convey information about the community. Then we will have Q&A section where you are welcome to ask any questions you would like to of your host today. Hearing the questions that you ask can benefit anyone watching the recording. So please do ask questions verbally during this time, if you're comfortable doing so. A little bit about myself. I'm Darshan Murthy. I've been with Kubernetes open source community for past 2 years. Primarily, I contribute to SIG storage, and once in a while, I'll help SIG contribute folks as well. Um, Now let's dive in. Kubernetes communities is very big group of people who work together to create and maintain the Kubernetes project. Just to give you the glimpse about the community, here is some numbers to give you a sense of for just how big the Kubernetes community is. We track data about our contributors via GitHub and few other contributor tools, and we collect them in a tool called DevStats. This is basically a big database of information about Kubernetes contributions, and you're welcome to explore it yourself. As of July 2025, we have around 97,000 contributors. We have almost 4.6 million contributions. And all of these contributions are reviewed by just 8.2 thousand people with reviewer privilege. We will talk more about contribution might mean and who are reviewers, um, and more details about the full cycle of contribution. Here is another visualization how large our community is and how fast it's growing. This graph is from 2023 Kubernetes project. Journey report shows how we have grown from Kubernetes beginnings in 2014 today. We grew from zero, over 80,000 contributors in our first 10 years. Isn't quite exciting that you're part of something so big? What is Kubernetes? Now, before we dive deep into community, some of you may be unfamiliar with what Kubernetes is and what it does. Kubernetes is an open source container orchestration tool. Open source means that it's made by people around the world, some of whom may are paid to work on it, but many of whom are volunteers like myself. And the code of the Kubernetes software is publicly available under the open source license that describes exactly who, when, and how software and its source code can be used. The cool thing about Kubernetes does is orchestrate container. Let's go over what that means. Businesses have many applications they need to run. Excuse me. For example, they may have a payroll application, logistic application, or company website. This application needs to run somewhere, so businesses also have a lot of computers to run this application on, right? Kubernetes enable businesses to say, hey, Kubernetes, here are the computers to have, and here are the apps I need to run. You can describe various levels of details how that application needs to run. or the hardware it might need, and Kubernetes will run it on a machine for you. It also provides some handy functionalities for managing the application while it's running. For example, it can provide some help for the process of updating the application to a newer version. Exactly what it does of all this magic is what Kubernetes contributors work to maintain and improve every day. Let's learn about how contributors build Kubernetes by exploring our community structure. This is an important slide. Kubernetes is an open source project within Cloud Native Computing Foundation. The CNCF is a non-profit organization with a stated mission to make cloud native ubiquitous. To that end, they support many open source projects that enable companies to run applications in cloud. The CNCF provides a variety of guidance and support to its projects, including legal support, code of conduct, help with logos, copyrights, and more. The pyramid below the CNCF represents the structure of Kubernetes communities. At the top, interfacing the most with the CNCF and presiding over the various topics that affects the entire community and project is the steering committee. This is a body of 7 members who are elected by Kubernetes org members. We will go over what org membership means shortly. With a project so large, there are many different concepts within the project that needs unique skills and knowledge. For example, the way the Kubernetes nodes where the workloads are run do what they do is one area of expertise. Meanwhile, the challenge of writing and maintaining Kubernetes docs needs folks with different expertise. People who work on specific area of the project gathered together is what are called special interest groups or SIGs. Remember when I introduced myself, I'm part of 2 groups. One is the Contribix and the other one is the SIG storage. These break up of work building and maintaining the Kubernetes project into more sensible chunks. Sometimes, however, there are big areas that needs attention that are both very significant and cut across SIGs. Sometimes these split into what we call working groups. Working groups are generally temporary, created to address a specific issue, then meant to disappear as a focus group once the topic is sufficiently addressed by ongoing SIG work. A defining characteristics of WGs is that they generally don't own the core or features, at least not in the long term. WG work either is or will be owned by one or more SIG by the time the WG dissolves, unless that is the WG becomes a SIG, which does occasionally happen. But even the work of one SIG can be quite broad in scope. There can be hundreds of contributors in the single SIG. So the SIG further break down into work into sub-projects. Yeah, I can tell you some of my own experience in the storage world. We have number of projects. We have projects like PVC management. So every project has its own GitHub project, and it's owned by different owners. So in that way, the entire org has a chunk of projects that are divided and works coordinating in a way that one skill set is reused in the other project. In that way, that the pool of talent will be used across the projects. So that's the whole idea. Currently, there are 24 special interest groups, 7 working groups, 3 committees in the Kubernetes group. We can further group the SIGs and the working groups by their scope. Right? Some groups operate at the project level, other work in the project depends on them. Some group work at the horizontal level, meaning that they have technical focus that is both depth and broad and own core functionalities from a project architecture perspective. Vertical groups are deep and specific technical focus that depends on the work of the horizontal group. And of course, both horizontal work groups, horizontal and vertical groups depends on the work of the project groups. Here is a diagram of all 6 and working groups currently active in the Kubernetes project. To call out just a few 6 release and the docs are the groups whose work you might be familiar with. They operate at the project scope. Though you may not have known, you are probably encountered the work of SIG API machinery and SIG auth before we consider these to be horizontal group. And the vertical groups, you can also find lots of familiar concepts like auto-scaling, scheduling, networking, and node. You might want to refer back to this diagram later as you're exploring the groups to contribute to. Feel free to ask questions during the Q&A as well. Now, this is a very important slide. I tell you why. As you know the basics of the community structure, let's start exploring where you fit into all of this. Let's first deeply explore why you might want to contribute. So this is very important for yourself to know why you're contributing. Some of the reasons are many reasons people contribute to Kubernetes community. For some, their job requires. Some communities are purely volunteer basis, for example, myself. There are also who are somewhere in middle of where their work needs them to contribute sometimes, but they also extra work for the community outside of their job. So why do many people contribute without getting paid, right? They want to grow a specific skill for their resume, or maybe they want to meet people working in the industry. Maybe they just think the technology is cool. They want to dive deep and help build it. Sometimes folks just like being part of community of people all working towards a similar goal. You should think carefully why you want to contribute. As you get more encouraged with the community, you will get more out of it. If you clearly tell people what you want, if others know who you are, what you want, and what you can do, you can more easily help. They can more easily help find you work opportunities and connection that will most benefit you. Regardless, why are you interested in contributing? You are probably wondering what it means to be a contributor. Right? The answer to this question is what it means to be a contributor. First, let's explore what might count as contribution. The truth is that any work you do to support Kubernetes project is a warm, who's welcome and valued contribution to the community. That sounds broad and vague, but it's important that there are a lot of work contributors do behind the scenes to make this project run, and it's certainly not all writing code and making pull requests on GitHub. That said, it can certainly help you have some examples, right? Here are few might have thought of and some you might not have. For example, did you start off posting a hello message in Kubernetes new contributor channel in Kubernetes channel? That's a contribution. Have you commented on an issue or proposal for a new feature to share your thoughts or opinion? That's a contribution too. Even watching or attending this meeting right now is a contribution. So pat yourself on the back for contributing today. As a community, we try our best to acknowledge and appreciate contributions to the community in many forms. But if so many vague and varied things can count as contribution, then what does it mean to be a contributor? There are varying level of being a contributor. You might You might remember our slide earlier where we mentioned contributors and reviewers. The slide dives into more details on what those terms means. Starting at the bottom, anyone can be a contributor if you do any of these things mentioned on the previous slides. More you are, and more, you're already a contributor. If you contribute to the community in any way, then you might be, we call it non-member contributor. This means that you pop up into the community, contribute, likely in small and disconnected way. But if you want to really get involved in the with the community, you might want to go for org membership. Org membership refers to the member of Kubernetes organization on GitHub. Uh, Being an org member gives you higher privileges to interact with the tools contributors use to do their work, like Prowbot in the GitHub, which helps us to apply labels, configure issues using GitHub comments. I tell you my own experience. I was not an org member when I joined, so I couldn't run tests. When I wrote tests for the SIG storage projects, I couldn't write tests. Now that I'm a member, it gives me an extra privilege to run tests. So I don't have to wait for some other approvers to run my test. So privileges like that helps you to proceed further and deliver better. So if So you will be ready to become a Kubernetes org member when the contributors you work with regularly are familiar with your work and will vouch for your sponsors on your request for membership. So the membership in Kubernetes is technically merit based. You'll have to find two sponsors who knows your work in different organization, and they will give you sponsorship. Once they provide sponsorship, so you'll have to request a pull request to become a member, and then you will become a member once everybody approves. Beyond becoming an org member, there are increasing levels of trust, ownership, and responsibilities that you could choose to pursue. Once you've been engaged in the area for a while, you might have enough knowledge to help review contributions or pull requests from other contributors. Eventually, you might be trusted enough to have final say on whether some code is merged or the contribution is accepted and displayed on something like Kubernetes.io website. Then you would be an approver. As you become strong expertise in specific area who is highly trusted and regarded for your expertise, you might take on a new responsibilities. You might become the person others come to with questions, and you might lead triage sessions and other work for the area. At that point, you might be the sub-project owner. As you see, the responsibilities are gradually increasing. If you're an expert who starts leading things in that area, you might also take in responsibility for various resources within area, how they relate to each other part of the project. For example, you might take responsibility for README file defining the whole sub-project, which is where people would go to learn about it. You might become the contact person who triages the request from the other parts of the project. At that point, you might be a sub-project lead. You're leading the whole sub-project. That's a considerable chunk of work within the SIG. You're probably interacting, collaborating with the leads of the sub-project, and you are probably developing a strong sense of mission and objectives and ongoing work for the SIG as a whole. At that point, you might become a chair or a tech lead for the entire special interest group. In storage world, we do have two tech leads, and I talk to them quite often if I'm stuck with a problem, if I need help, if I if I need different directions. They are the one who conduct the stand-ups as well. If you remember our community structure diagram from earlier, you might wonder if becoming a member of the steering committee would be your next step. But steering is an elected position, which is happening. This is very interesting. In next 2 months, in election in Kubernetes, where we will be working towards electing a steering committee. You can eventually run for steering at any point past org membership, but you will be more likely to get elected the better other contributors know you and your work. This is very crucial that your work should be known by others for them to sponsor you. The ladder might seem like one true path in contribution, but I want to remind you that there is no single path for your contributor journey because everybody is different, everybody's skill set is different, and everybody path for success is different. So it's up to you as a contributor to figure out how you can bring in your skills and talent to the Kubernetes org. Some people even develop ownership in a different SIGs at the same time. Just because you're learning and contributing in one SIG doesn't mean you can't check out others. Remember, most contributors are at least partially volunteers. Almost everyone contributing is doing it because they love it. So look around, find what you love and do it. Now that you know the basics of Kubernetes community structure, how you might fit into it, as we have established, you might already be a non-member contributor, but if you want to do more to contribute, let's explore where you can start. The fastest way to learn, make yourself useful will be find SIG that suits your interest and just getting involved there. I can't emphasize enough of this slide that how crucial to be patient with yourself and attend meetings. I think for 6 months, at least in my case, I was only attending meetings and observing and absorbing what they're trying to do. It only after many months of continuous meetings and interactions my first pull request was approved and then merged. So I think that's what this slide is trying to convey, that there might not mean that immediately pick up an issue and writing code. I think the rookie mistake people do is that they come in and they start taking some random issues which they have no expertise, and then they suddenly feel like they're stuck. So I think the approach here is that take a step back, start attending the SIG organization, different SIGs and different meetings, and then see which one works for you. And then once that works for you, and start seeing how the existing pull requests work and how issues are being addressed and what are the problems that they're trying to solve, and try to pick up one simple thing and one thing lead to the other, and you start developing the expertise over the period of time. The primary ways that Kubernetes communities communicates in are the Kubernetes log and the Slack and the KDev mailing list. Make sure you join these as soon as possible if you want to contribute more. This is very important because the moment you join to the KDev mailing list, you start receiving emails, and also you get calendar requests for all the meetings. Let's explore how you can learn about the SIG so you can find the groups that are doing work relevant to your interest. So where can you start learning? The first, check out Kubernetes community repo on GitHub. In this repo, you can find the folder containing information about each SIG and working groups. When you click on the SIG folder in the community repo, it will show you that the folder's README. At the top of the file, you will find the brief summary of the SIG's focus area, and likely a link to their more detailed team charter. This will give you a broad, high-level idea of what SIG does. Below is a summary of the group that will find information about the group meets. Attending the meetings is often a great way to learn about who is in the group, what they are currently working on, how they can do their work. And attending meetings is a great way to start getting to know about the group of people you are interested in working with, and for them to get to know you. You will also find information about the SIG's leadership. The most SIGs have both concept of chairs and technical leads. These leaders are the same level of the trust and responsibilities, but they likely own different types of tasks for supporting the SIGs. Chairs tend to do more project management type of work for the SIGs, while the lead tend to do more architectural leadership, like managing repos and certain kinds of technical decisions and the processes. Each SIG defines what this role means to them, and each leader will be a little different. Yeah, I worked with two leaders so far. They're very different people. The approach is different, org is different, technical style is different. So you have to be a little bit patient with everybody because, like we mentioned earlier, some people are volunteering, some people do this as a day job, but still, it's not at all. They have other responsibility as well. So being patient with everyone and asking the right question always helps move much faster. You'll also find contact information for the SIG. More SIG in the Kubernetes to do a lot of asynchronous communication in their channel within the Kubernetes Slack, which you can join by visiting slack.k8s.io. Each SIG is also has a mailing list. Important announcement for all contributors to SIG will go out to the mailing list. The mailing list will also have invited to all SIG meetings via Google Calendar. You will find more information about finding issues PR related to that SIG. You will also find more information about the teams and the different people who are involved with the project. Every contributor should join Kubernetes Dev Google group. It's also called as KDev. This mailing list is a primary communication channel for important contributor information. It looks like this. It's better you check this calendar every time to check out what are the existing meetings that we have today, and you can plan accordingly. Interesting. What are the current work opportunities? Now that you know community structure, where you could fit in, how to start learning more, you might also want to know if there are any actively open work you could pick up and become a part of. We reach out SIG leads each month to ask them to share any current opportunities they would like you prospective contributors to know about. On this slide, you can see the evergreen opportunities. Some of it are regularly it opens up. right? Always available. So some more always available opportunities. SIGDoc is one such opportunities where documentation is always needed, right? Can I pick up this task? This is a very good question. How do I choose the task? Because this will determine your interest and next task that comes along the way. What I mean is that evergreen opportunities are great because they represent the work that always needs doing and which likely well defined. But a lot of work is one-off style, an issue that needs fixing or work on the new feature. Many of these types of work require certain skills to complete. You might see an open request that requires skill you want to develop and think you should pick up that task to learn. But be wary of doing this. If the task was easy for anyone already in the SIG would do it. If the task is so simple, somebody would have already taken and finished the task by now. It probably there in the issues because no one has time to do it, or tech leads doesn't have time to teach somebody else, or it might be open because people do have those skills, but they are too busy and can't pick up more work, including helping others. But if you're coming to the Kubernetes community with existing skill like certain programming language, specific technical skill like Linux, networking, or expertise in certain cloud provider, these tasks could be great opportunities for you to contribute to the community. So essentially what we are saying is that choosing the right task is very important. Always start with what you already know, what the skills that you already have developed. In that way, you will be independent and try to finish the entire task to its completion. This is the current, this slide lists the calls for the help that require certain skills and some more and some more. This is a great question. Common contribution pitfall. I've already mentioned multiple times, right? Um, let's see this. The common contribution pitfall is falling into good first issue trap. Don't fall for this trap. Even though if they say it's a good first issue, make sure that that good first issue is within your realm or in your skill set so that you can contribute and move to the completion. So not more than often what happens is scenario goes like this. You're a new perspective contributor. You're excited to make your mark on the community. You will find a good first issue. And then this is what happens, where you pick up a good first issue and how are you going to complete it? Right? As I mentioned earlier in the Kubernetes communities uses the tool Proudbot, etc. If you start writing the code, those reviewers and approvers owners are mentioned will appear to make sure that the issue will take the right label and right labels and stuff on it. Once you've written your code, you will also need to get their attention to review your PR. Remember, there's a lot more contributors than we have reviewers. When you make your PR, reviewer and approvers will be automatically assigned. But what if there is an issue in your code? You might need to go back and forth with the reviewers on GitHub. Are you comfortable using comments and pull requests to see your work through the completion? This is very important because not more, most of the time, in my experience, is that when I write a code, you will get comments and you will be asked different questions whether this is right. Have I completed all the corner cases? And it is a back and forth. Since most of us are not our full-time job, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of time to complete it. So that is why be very smart in choosing the good first issue. Most good first issue that you get picked up by the new non-member contributor never make it to completion. The code never gets checked in. Then the community has all these tail issues and PR sitting around for work we really needed done. But the person got lost and ended up abandoning their contribution halfway. Then those reviewers and approvers and owners have to go through the process of triaging the issue and opening it again. whatever else they might to do with it. You can avoid getting stuck in a trap by joining the SIG and sticking to it. When you know the people you're working with, the goals you're working towards, you can be valuable part of not just doing the work, but making sure work gets done, right? Finally, there is a lot of information today, right? This is a lot to grasp on the day one. I do remember when I joined first few months, I was lost because you literally have to figure out your tribe, where you will fit in, what kind of tasks that you want to do, all of that. So it takes a while. When you join Zig meeting, you're probably going to be overwhelmed. This is bound to happen because the terms are different and people are discussing different ideas. So that doesn't mean that you shouldn't join a new contributor as a new contributor. You will learn faster by joining these meetings and watching the process in action. But it might mean that you feel left out and lost your first few times. Don't be afraid to ask questions by speaking up, asking it in the chat, or asking it in the SIG or the sub-project Slack later. Kubernetes community is a big, diverse place. It's diverse in terms of people, skill, technology, and so much more. It might take you a while to find the place that clicks. And finally, we've covered a lot. Here is some of the resources that you can find as well. And back to the question and answers. If you have any question, feel free to ask us. I'm gonna stop my screen. Hey guys.
Hey y'all, how's it going? Thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Any questions out there? Can you share the presentation?
In the Slack group?
Um, no, it's someone here asking in chat. Sorry.
Oh,
The the slides land on GitHub,
oh, okay. Yeah, it's on
I think.
GitHub.
So that might be the best place to publish them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It's on the GitHub, and I think we will publish the latest one so that you can get the latest
Yeah, well,
slides.
let me try and find the link real quick. Contributor orientation. Woohoo. Let's see, slides. Yeah, so slides land here. But we haven't posted anything new there in a while.
Yeah.
Hey Darshan, I just want to say thanks for hosting this and presenting. Yeah, my name's Grant and I come from Google and I was contributing to one of the CSI repos and that's I think that's how I got the invite to this one. Like the CSI containers for
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I think that's under SIG storage.
Yeah.
Should be, yeah.
And I think I made a couple PRs um and that was just me like addressing some of like the because I noticed when I ported or when I forked it to my own local repo, I saw that there were a bunch of like linter warnings, so I was like, okay, I wanted to just like address those quickly. And some of my PRs, I think one of them was quickly approved, but some of them I haven't gotten any responses from. So I was wondering like what's typically like um the wait time, or should I like reach out to the assigned reviewers? What do you recommend for that?
No, I think the way I do is that I pick up those tasks and then go to stand-ups that we have. In stand-up, they go over all the existing PR for GA. That's a priority. That's how the tech leads prioritize for the releases that they have. They want to cover these issues. Once they finish all of that, then if you bring them attention in the stand-up, they will definitely look into it.
I
So
see.
yeah,
Okay.
just like the SIG meeting itself is what Darshan means by
Yeah.
stand up. So yeah,
Mhm.
the SIG storage meeting is on Thursdays, it looks like. So good timing.
They have Thursday, they have Monday, two times they have.
Nice. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you join that meeting and say, hey, I've done these things, they'll give you the context you're looking for as to why they haven't been accepted. But in general, I encourage people to go to the meeting before committing, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
That way you can at least know who to talk to. So, yeah, that's
Yeah, that
Also,
makes
do
a
you
lot of sense.
mind DM me the PRs? I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
thank you, Darshan.
Yeah.
Any other questions? And thank you, Grant, for your question.
I don't see Grant on Slack. Are you on Slack at all, Grant?
No, I am a recent contributor, so I have not
Okay,
joined all those
Oh,
yet.
okay.
Yeah,
no
but
worries.
I will be after this meeting. Yeah.
Yeah. Once you are, like I was mentioning in my first few slides that it takes a while to get used to the community because it's so huge and so many different people with different ideas and time schedules. It's amazing this community and the way it works. It baffles me every day because you know thousands of people are coming together and they're all working and then learning and figuring it out things. So yeah.
Trying to find the first time contributor guide for you. I know we have it somewhere. There we go. New contributor course. No. Well, that might be it. Here. If you go to kubernetes.dev/docs, one of those guides will apply to you.
If you're working for Google, it's even easier because most of the
Right.
SIG people are from Google.
Or a lot of them
So
are, yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And our tech lead, no, not our tech lead, but our immediate folks who are almost tech leads, they're all from Google in storage world for sure.
All right. Well, thank you all so much. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, Darshan, I'm going to drop.
Mhm. Thank you, folks. Have a nice day. Bye.
Question.
Yep, go for
I
it.
just recently also a contributor at OpenTelemetry. So I
Uh-huh.
work around that Bitnami issue. Do
Okay.
we? Uh, I think so. You know about it. What happened about the Bitnami and Broadcom acquisition?
Mm-hmm.
They did their private. I have a doubt because they didn't mention that things properly over there about their Bitnami secure kubectl image. So are they
Okay.
going purely private? I'm not sure that you will be able to answer this or not. It's completely random question. Sorry for that. but I was just curious about it, and I have also posted a PR regarding that. So that's why I asked you.
Oh, I cannot answer that question, but you can always ask these questions in the groups, and people definitely come back to you.
Okay, okay. So I was also looking forward to contribute to this Kubernetes thing, but I didn't found any issue that would make me go for it. So is there any place I could find it out and figure things?
So like I said in in my slides, that it depends on your existing skill set,
Okay.
um, and try different SIGs, go to different meetings.
Hmm.
Don't be in a hurry to contribute. I think the idea is not to contribute in first few months when you join the Kubernetes. The idea is to see where you fit in. So once you fit in and start attending the meetings and start developing expertise in one area, and
Okay.
issues will come up and then you automatically start contributing.
Okay. Great. Great. Thank you, Darshan.
No problem. All right, have a nice day, and I'm